If you're a fan of captivating stories, this is one that you don't want to miss, believe me. And it's such a pleasure to have Ever Obi himself in the studio this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. This is a good book.
Thank you.
This is a very good book.
Thank you.
You write so well. From the very first line, it was captivating.
Thank you.
I mean, so I went to the back before the front. So by the time I started reading, I was like, wait, what? Why is there so much disconnect? And then I started like racing through and I'm like, how did you do this? You know what? For those who haven't come across the book yet, let Ever tell us about it. Tell me about Men Don't Die.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for your generous comments about the book.
I am being very, very honest about it. It's a good one.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Men Don't Die, I would say, is the story of a young man known as Brume Lover. And
do people bear that name, Lover? From the beginning, I was like, Lover. Did you come up with that, or is actually a real name?
I've not seen anybody bearing this.
Okay, artistic. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
So it follows the story of Brume Lover and his quest for happiness. For happiness, really. But then he built that quest around two things. Yeah, around money that he did not have and around the love of a woman that he believed that he had. Then when those things are tested, so how does he react to them? You know, that follows his journey, and then we now get to the point where we explore the themes of death and afterlife.
You know, for many people, this book is actually something that some can identify with, while some are probably coming across some of the concepts of the book for the first time. Let's talk about the concept of the very beginning, for example, when his father came to visit him. Tell us about that. Is it a personal experience you've had as well?
No, it's not. It's not a personal experience, but I've heard people, you know, say that I had this schoolmate when I was in the university. Her name was Doris. You know, told me about how the father died in the hospital, and then when they got back home, the neighbor said, "Oh, your father was actually here."
Wow.
And then I had this neighbor when we were growing up. Chichi was her name. And she died. When she died in the hospital, people in the neighborhood said she came around.
Wow.
So I've heard these things. So it wasn't, you know, from my own personal experience. But then it happened to Brume at the beginning of the novel when his father had already lost his life. His father came to him, and his father being his father, you know, always would talk about money is the root of all evil, money is this, I don't like how you chase money, and so on and so forth. And it starts from that sleep paralysis, and now, you know, it gets to that point.
Like you were teaching a lot of things that people had probably never come across, yet still being smooth. There's a flow about your writing. It just feels like I'm either seeing a movie or it's something about somebody I know that I'm hearing about or experiencing even. Because at some point, I got so lost in the book, I thought I was in it. That's how well you write. And I'm not kidding about this. So now, there comes Gabi. I don't know how you managed to ensure they met at the hospital, even though they didn't, like, you know, how do you come up with these things? Is there an influence you have for your writing?
I would always say that the reason I started writing was someone called Adeza Twigo. Adeza Twigo, and that was when I was like 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So growing up, I used to, you know, have my sister give me books to read. And she used to give me a lot of books written by Adeza Twigo. Tears, Fate, My Husband's Mistress, Charlie 9, you know, so on and so forth. So from there, I started writing. So I would always say Adeza Twigo was, you know, my inspiration to even start writing anything.
I see you gave her the commendation. You dedicated the book to her, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Adeza Twigo.
It was to her. It was to her. Yeah. So Adeza Twigo, that was why I started writing, and you know, regarding what happened to Gabe and how we ended up just connecting the story. I always say that when I write, I love to, you know, have the full story. I know what I'm writing about, and I have an outline, so I know where my story is starting and then where it's ending.
So it's just to flesh it out.
Yeah, so that way you get to maybe leave things in the beginning, and then, you know, people think you're writing something disjointed or disconnected, but then the beauty of creative writing is you get to bring it all together, and then, you know, people leave the end of the book with a strong emotion.
Wow. So for people to give quality, sometimes they get educated to learn skills and stuff. Did you get an education to be able to get this done? Like, did you go to a writing school? Or perhaps you decided to get yourself a mentor who literally walked you through? Please, I need to know, because this is good.
It's just reading.
Wow.
You read, but not just reading to enjoy the book, but you're reading to learn. Because you know you have that interest. You're interested in words. You're interested in creative writing. You're reading to learn. You're not like a spectator that goes to, see a football match. You're just someone trying to learn. Reading, it gets you there. And patience. And patience.
Talking about patience, how long did it take you to write this book?
Yeah, it took me 4 years to write this book.
I'm not surprised.
It took me 4 years to write.
But why did it take you that long?
Oh, I have another life. I have another life. I always like to say I'm a writer first before I'm anything else. Right? Because being a writer is that one dream that never changed in my life. But I'm also in the financial services space. I'm a financial risk manager and I'm a business executive. So I kind of run companies.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is.
So in the midst of running companies, you were able to write this book?
Yeah, there's a second book as well.
And there's a second book, yeah. You did mention that.
Yeah, I can't stop. I would be dead if I stopped writing.
My goodness, this is definitely your passion, because for you to be in the financial sector, that's already tasking and stressful enough.
Oh, yeah.
And then for you to write a book that is this good, then that's really commendable. And then another thing that also really caught my attention, what happened to, I'm trying not to give spoilers, even though I love spoilers. So what happened to Brume himself, spanning through the story? I don't want to talk too much about it, but have you ever experienced such, or as you said, maybe somebody told you something similar happened that made you decide to really put it into a story? Because what happened to him is mind-blowing.
No, I haven't. I haven't experienced anything like that. But I think Brume's story is, it points to the fact that we all just go about life and we believe that life owes us something. There's that sense of entitlement. I should be happy. Oh, I'm done with school. I had a good grade. I should have this and I should have that. But life really doesn't work like that. You keep, doing your best. And you should always have it at the back of your head that suffering is part of life. I always like to say.
Part of life.
Yeah, I always like to say, and life just deals us different cards. Sometimes we think we don't deserve it, and sometimes we think we deserve it, but who are you to say what you deserve and what you don't deserve?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Wow, Ever Obi, thank you so much for this book. I'm going to get an autographed copy from you. You are not going to escape that. However, because you gave me such a delicious book to read, because I'm really excited about this. I'm going to read it again because it's really that good.
Thank you.
I'd like us to give you breakfast this morning as well.
Oh, I love.
And since your name is Obi, I'm very sure you're going to love what's for breakfast this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to head to the kitchen now for breakfast.
Okay.
Keep your fingers crossed. You're going to smile.
Cross.